I've been wanting to find a one-room schoolhouse to explore for quite some time. So after some research, I decided to drive an hour and a half to the closest one still standing today, the Frenchman's Knob Schoolhouse in Hart County, Kentucky. The Frenchman's Knob Schoolhouse was established in 1860, destroyed by fire sometime in the years 1880 to 1900, and the current building dates back to 1912. The last school session being in 1949 to 1950, with no electricity or plumbing. And I tend to forget anything labeled with a knob means you're climbing a mountain. Okay, so I've got to the top of the hill and I see it. The Frenchman's Knob School, the one-room school. The first one originally burnt down and this one was built back in 1900. I can't find a whole lot of history, but I'll look further and try to give a good recap at the beginning of this video. But I also see a cemetery over to my left in the woods. That makes it all the more interesting. So let's check it out. This is amazing right here. And look, the tin roof is still good on it. It's stacked up on rocks. That is so cool that this is still here. Yep. Some creek rock, it looks like. I assume this over here is the front of the school. Now, who wants to do that? People shouldn't do that, really. Seriously. Oh, double door. Oh, wow. You can still see the original color of the walls. Oh, this floor is not the greatest, honestly. Way too much graffiti. Oh my gosh. Look, it had a wood stove at one time. Keep the little kids warm. That is so cool, the double doors. You can still see the moldings around the windows. That's original 1900s, probably 1900 molding. It's got all these windows, a little attic space. Oh wow, you can still see where the chalkboard was. That is cool. At least the kids had a beautiful view back then of the forest as they were, being educated. I'm not so sure if this was a door now. Maybe they were, I bet they were windows that opened So this was not a door. And those are not hinges. That's to open the window, which I assumed they really needed that. I wonder if they had a fan back then, a ceiling fan. They do have fixtures on the ceiling. And I do remember reading that this school was actually in use until the 1950s, if you can believe that or not, but that's what Google told me. I can believe that. People in rural areas like this using one-room schoolhouses in the 50s. This has this platform, I guess, where the teacher would walk back and forth and teach the class. And this was where the chalkboard was mounted. This is actually, it's actually wood. Looks like it's painted black. Unless they used, I don't know what kind of chalkboard they used back then. Surely they would have a regular chalkboard. All right, I think we'll head over to the cemetery and see if there's anything else around here. I've been wanting to see a one-room schoolhouse for a long time. I finally found one. I drove an hour and a half to see it, but it was worth the drive. Kind of do a walk around of the old school here. I would say in the summertime, this place is probably covered in foliage. It looks like they did a repair to the tin roof, so they are trying to preserve it. Oh, and they put some plywood on this side. Yep. They sure are trying to keep it preserved. That's awesome. Now, I'll see if we can find a path to the cemetery. So I think this marks the cemetery. Pretty sure. Just curious to see how far back these graves go. Yeah, I'm starting to see headstones. Oh wow, they look really old. Oh, it's bigger than I thought. And unmaintained. You would not see this in the summertime. Maybe barely, but not much. Wow. We have just some stone markers as well that could date back to Native Americans, possibly. Let's see what we have here. Died April 7th, 1880. Wow. Hannah M. Bolton. Oh. $1869. I can't really read the name. These are all from the 1800s. Some early, some later. Okay, this money penny grave over here, this is the actual person who donated the land for the school. I do remember reading that. So that's interesting. Him and his wife. And he died in 1954 and she died in 1943. And I think 1954 is the last time that school had session. Pretty sure it was 1954, and that's the year that he died. Money Penny. That's an odd name, isn't it? I've never heard that name before. Yeah, these are all 1800s. She died in 1898. Parthenia. That's a pretty name. These are always interesting, especially if you look at them from the top. I think it's a mason.